Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of the CD podcast. My name is Cian, and this is...
Dillon.
And in this episode, the main topic of discussion will be how Twitch and YouTubers have been going at it in battle over this past week or two. Dillon, would you like to start?
Yeah, so basically, from what I can tell, it all started from, there's this whole thing going around of Pokemon, whether she has a boyfriend or not,
Mm-hmm.
and Keemstar picked up on this, and he saw this and went, wow, how can I make this about me, make some money out of this? So he's been pretty much on a warpath all week. Did you see he apparently he infiltrated her Discord, paid off all of her mods so that he can see the terms that were banned?
Yeah, I did.
That's sad, man. Like, who cares if she has stuff? Like,
Dude, the game starts just sad though in
that's
general.
a sad length to go. You're
Yeah.
a 38-year-old man. You've got kids, man. Go.
Can we also
carry your
discuss
fucking kids.
a 28-year-old man making a public tweet saying Pokemon 2 out of 10?
38-year-old man, actually. That's-
I said 38,
Yeah,
didn't I?
you said 28.
No, I said 30. That's my mic.
Whatever.
But that's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah, and apparently he was talking about her content, which is clear. Like, he clearly posted that for it to be
Yeah.
misinterpreted. I don't think. I don't think he believes either of those statements to be true. He just posted it to be inflammatory.
He's a...
Yeah,
don't
we
really
can
know
go
what-
on for hours
yeah.
talking about how much of a shitbag Keemstar is.
But enough has
um,
been said about him already online. We don't need to add anything
Yeah,
to that.
we can't add anything that's not already been said about him. But to the matter at hand, essentially this started this whole debate about people have been debating which is harder out of Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
And honestly, it just sounds like a bunch of entitled pricks who are doing everybody's dream job, complaining about whose job is harder. Honestly, it's really hard to find sympathy for these people.
Yeah.
Because like they're doing the job that every kid under the age of 18 pretty much dreams of doing. Like we all uploaded videos on YouTube as a kid, hoping that it would like eventually one would hit. We're still doing it right now. And these, like, I'm not saying that there's no effort goes into either of them, right? Each of them, they're not very comparable, right? Because like YouTube, it's more the editing and research side that takes more of the effort, whereas with streaming, it's like you set up the camera and the effort is that you have to perform for hours on end, trying your best to keep it entertaining.
And then you have the streamers who go to the extra lengths to stream and edit for YouTube.
Yeah, and because like
Especially
a
if
lot of
it's
these
starting.
streamers, like they should show a wee bit more respect to the YouTube side, because that's a lot of them make quite a bit of money from their highlights on YouTube, and like they all pay their editors, so it's kind of showing a bit of a lack of disrespect to their editors, saying that, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think they're disrespecting the work that goes into it. They're disrespecting the people that use YouTube as a platform just to destroy others.
Well, some of them are, because I saw someone talking earlier about like a lot of people saying, you know, people make like one YouTube video a month and then, you know, go cry about it and say that they have to take a break because of their mental health and the toll it's taking on them. Like, admittedly, right,
Damage
like,
Ludwig, I believe, said something about that.
I think, yeah, someone said that he was joking, but I don't know. I haven't really watched too much of him. Like there are, I think, like there are YouTubers who get off a wee bit easy
Mm-hmm.
who, you know, I'm not saying the people who upload one video a month put in no effort, right? But I think some of them definitely rip the arse out of it a bit,
Yeah.
in that, like, you know, a video that would take them maybe 2 months to make, if they were a wee bit more dedicated to
Yeah.
just sitting down and doing it, they could probably cut that by like at least half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, majority of the criticism that I see going towards the Twitch side is like people saying that they don't do anything when they're on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people taking clips of like Pokemon out of context, or she's just
Yeah.
sitting there like eating her lunch, you know, doing like a React Andy, just like sitting there watching clips.
It's like she's hardly going to play a game while trying to eat lunch.
Yeah, and it's like you're sitting there for like 8 hours. You're gonna take a break at some point.
Yeah.
And
It's like any
shows-
job, you take your breaks even
it
during.
shows significantly more dedication that she would take her break on stream.
Yeah, rather than end the stream, take a break, and start a new one.
Yeah, like you see people like DeFran when he streamed, whenever the pizza would arrive, he would end the stream or like pause it and then come back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
But I
I'm
believe
not
though
saying-
his streams were for his, you know, people watched him expecting him to be gaming, and if he was to go and just start eating, he'd probably lose a lot of people watching him during the time he spends eating.
Yeah, I'm just using him as an example, but like he's one of the ones that came to mind. You know, people that would
Yeah.
take their breaks off stream. But like, what was I gonna say? I forget. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, because there's plenty of people that I don't know. I guess it depends per person, because like
Yeah.
some people, like, they have more of an idea of what they want to do when they're taking their break on stream, so it's a bit more like, it depends what you
Yeah.
would watch, I guess, because not everybody would watch a Twitch streamer just reacting to stuff.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, there's other streamers out there who do just like all, like, it's always content based.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll take their breaks off stream if they take breaks at all.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I know. I fail to see just the reasoning behind all of it and how this has all started, because at the end of the day, they're two completely different platforms. And as you said, you know, Twitch streamers somewhat rely on YouTube for like half their income, and even get noticed on Twitch as well. Relies heavily on getting something out on YouTube. You know, you could be streaming hundreds of hours a week on Twitch and never get noticed unless you're
Yeah.
uploading to YouTube frequently.
And because like people can't really criticize Twitch in a way of like, you know, like they rely heavily on like donos and stuff, but there's plenty of YouTubers that use Patreon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like the reason that you have the opportunity to take so long with your videos is you have thousands of people willing to give you a few dollars a month,
Yeah.
just like for absolutely no reason other than that they have the spare change to give you,
Yeah.
so that you can continue to like put
Because
out higher quality videos
Yeah.
in less time.
because subbing on Twitch, in my opinion, is almost the equivalent of joining a YouTuber's Patreon. Tend to find Twitch streamers will provide their subs with the same benefits that a YouTuber would provide their Patreons user with.
Yeah, and cause like if you, there's most YouTubers I see, like, they don't have any kind of reward for their Patreon. It's just like, you know, it's there. They've got like $1, $5, whatever.
No, I've seen
Whereas
a few that like they'll actually provide their supporters with a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah, and then whereas like if you look at Twitch, if you sub to someone, it's like tier 1's like $5 a month. You know, you're getting you're mostly doing it for the act of supporting the
Yeah.
streamer, admittedly, but you get some stuff, you know, like emotes
And then you have the
occasionally
added
tickets sold on
benefit
chat.
of Twitch Prime as well. If you have
Mhm.
that, you can use them anyone.
Yeah, because ads are just
Although ads go for any streamer, it's like you don't need Twitch Prime to stop seeing ads. It could be any sub.
yeah, it reduces it a bit though.
Yeah.
And then like that I saw, just to, I'm gonna have to bring up Keen again, but I just looked at his Twitter before coming on here,
Yeah.
and he posted something that was like, "I'm declaring the YouTube Twitch war over."
Can I
It
see
seems
this?
that the Twitch people have given up and stopped talking about it because they're being afraid of being cyberbullied or whatever. I declare YouTube the winner. It's like, well, it's very easy to declare your
Mhm.
side the winner in a war that you started.
Wait, how long ago was this?
The tweet maybe a few days ago, maybe.
Because he made a tweet today regarding it. that
Was that
hasn't.
today?
No, there's a tweet he made regarding the Ludwig scenario that he made like 9 hours ago.
Keemstar's hardly ever want to let something go.
Exactly true. Oh, it's mad. It's crazy. I don't like
weird. Yeah, it's weird that people still indulge the drama that Keemstar drums up. Like, you know, hopefully he never sees this, because I don't think we'll be able to withstand the sheer force of the hive mind his subscribers create.
If he has the time to come out at us, then I give up hope on that man. Like I've jeez.
I can't say he would, but then again, I could be surprised, because he'll seem to probably only go after people like who have significant following, who he can
get something out, yeah.
Leech the bottom people off,
or vice versa. He'll go after people with no following to ensure they
Mhm.
never get one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either way. Like, you know, you do you. You know, if that's how you enjoy spending your time, then nice. Because wow, that's a sad existence.
I don't really know if there's much else we can talk about in terms of that situation.
Have you seen all this stuff between Jake Paul's new song and him sending it over to KSI and Logan's podcast? That's recently blew up a bit.
On the Jake Paul topic, actually, the FBI raid. Jake Paul raided by the FBI. Holy shit. I couldn't find too much information on it, because there's very little being said. The first thing I saw was the TMZ article, because they were the first ones to report on it, which they seem to have this unique ability to get to the story. Basically before it even happens.
Yeah.
And like, from what I could tell, they're speculating that they raided his house because he had a huge party with like no masks, no social distancing. The whole house was like fucking bunged, and which, like, it's illegal in California at the minute to have mass gatherings.
Like, how can you be that irresponsible as well?
Well, there is a thing, right? Well, I've heard about it in California. I don't know how much, or what else is doing it, but they're having COVID parties, right? Where people will go purposefully to get infected with coronavirus so that they can get it out of the way and, like, sort of get it over with. It's crazy. Like, it reminds me of, like, there was parties, like, people would go and, like, someone would like secretly, you know, it's the kind of thing. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
It was probably one of those COVID parties. That's what I imagine. Because he strikes me as the kind of person who would do that sort of thing. Like, but the thing that came out of it, the amount of, I don't have to worry about getting demonetized if I can say this,
Yeah.
but the amount of guns that Jake Paul has in his house
Oh my
is
god.
insane. Like, I don't
Why do you
remember the
need
exact-
that many guns?
Why did he like? I can understand. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of guns, right?
Yeah.
But I can understand maybe having one for self-defense or whatever. In the place he lives, I think he lives in like Beverly Hills, which from what I hear, there's a lot of like coyotes and like mountain lions and stuff around there that like walk through the street and like kill people's dogs and stuff. I could understand maybe having one in the sense of like, you know, if a mountain lion or whatever got into your garden and you're trying to defend yourself. But I don't remember the exact number, but I saw something like 8 FBI officers went in and they all came out with 2 guns in each hand, like 2 guns each. And like the guns they had were like, these are like sniper rifles and like they look like automatic rifles, and it's like,
who needs
why?
that? Yeah.
Why do you have any of this? Luckily, right, he wasn't home.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
He was in like Vegas or something with one of his mates. I think one of his mates got raided as well. It was crazy.
Could you imagine if he was home at the time?
Yeah, like I think it would have been far worse if he was.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have like shot him, but I think he probably would have said something really stupid, or given some sort of interview. I haven't seen any. He probably has made some sort of comment on it. I haven't seen anything yet. Because I think his lawyer talked to TMZ, and he was like, "Yeah, it's just essentially confirming that it happened. Not much else." But so what was the thing you were saying? What did he say about KSI?
So basically, as you know, KSI has been releasing a lot of music recently, and it's been topping charts and whatnot. And Jake made a song, a new one, which, you know me, like, none of this is my type of music, right? Like, I think KSI released, like, out of all the new songs he released, there's one I listened to and I was like, alright, you know what, even as someone that doesn't like this genre in the slightest, I didn't mind it. I actually thought it was pretty good. But Jake comes out of this song, right? It's something about London. But not the city London. Just the name London. I don't know. I think it's like a hotel or something. And he pretty much gets more views in his YouTube video, right? And this whole thing, you know, people are making a bit of a, not a big deal about it, but, you know, they're making a sizable deal about it because in it, it's not bad. You know, Jake doesn't have a track record for making good music.
Yeah, I've heard the song is quite bad. I haven't heard anything from it. But
what surprised people was it's not as bad as people expected it to be. Like, I thought it was terrible, but I just don't like that style anyway. But it's, according to what people are saying, is actually fairly decent. And that led to this whole thing where he didn't write his own music, but said he did. And, you know, KSI responded and was like, "You don't write your own music." Then Jake went on to Logan's podcast, pretty much said like they're talking about how KSI's music isn't good and Jake's is better and they've gotten more hits, which KSI then goes on to prove isn't true. Mike on the podcast is trying to like kind of balance it out a bit. But yeah, it's basically just Jake passing on beef and stuff to KSI, obviously before this whole fight they're meant to be having, with a lot of people getting annoyed at Logan for kind of dropping down to Jake's level throughout the entire podcast. Whereas if Jake hadn't been on the podcast, people were saying Logan would have been more balanced and less biased in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what happened.
Well, I think from Logan's standpoint, I don't really watch much of his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I'll probably listen to it eventually to see what it's like, but I imagine from his standpoint, he probably had to take, he felt like he had to take Jake's side of it.
Yeah.
Especially, well, because it's his brother, and especially because he was there at the time.
Mm-hmm. It's like if they hadn't have been on the same terms, that podcast could have just gone out of control very quickly.
Yeah, because I think at the very least Logan could probably keep him in check.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that him being there probably suppressed Jake from saying something like really mental. For like, and I think like we all know that Logan has seemed to have calmed down
Yeah.
the past few years.
Oh, definitely.
He's hopefully going forward he'll act as Jake's moral compass to try and ground him a bit, because you know Logan's definitely like Jake's made more mistakes, but I think Logan's probably made worse ones.
Yeah.
So I think like he should probably listen to Logan because he'll definitely be coming from experience.
I know there's something about Jake is like, I don't know if you can get through to him, honestly.
He's just
something about him.
He's very unlikable, and I don't think he does very much to change.
I think he likes it though.
Perception of him.
Yeah, like I think you can tell just looking at him, he enjoys it.
It's the kind of thing where it's probably he's like, you know, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
With regards to him not writing his own music, to be fair, there's plenty of people who don't, especially in modern music. I'd say there's more people who don't write their own music as opposed to people who do.
No, but I think what caused this whole thing was Jay calling KSI out for not writing his own music, and then KSI getting annoyed about it because he does write his own, and then Jake trying to say that he does write his own, but then there's proof that Jake doesn't write his own music. I think that was what sparked that whole controversy between the two of them.
Yeah, I think that would probably be coming from where Jake is coming from there, is he's probably quite, I'd say he's probably quite insecure about not writing his own music.
Yeah.
And the worst part about him not writing his own music is it's still not very good. Which is like, with someone with Jake's amount of money, he could probably like pay someone to
you could get a good
better.
song.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any excuse. Like, I know he's not a musician by trade. I don't think there's any excuse for him to be making the kind of music he does.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of money he has.
And if he really, like, say it's because he himself just can't sing properly, you could go down, like, a different route and just simply be the producer, you know? Make, like, the beat of the song, but get someone else to sing it for you. Which is
People
still
would
good.
respect him more if he just, you know, had the balls to admit, like, listen, it's not working out.
Yeah.
I tried it, didn't work. I'll do something else. Maybe if I still want to be involved in music, you know, like you said, could be a producer. He could be more, like, he could establish a record label. I don't know if he does, he might, but you know, if he still wants to be in the industry and sort of reap the rewards and the financial aspect of it, that would be, say, a well smarter decision than throwing yourself in the deep end and just risking more embarrassment. Like, at the very least, I'm not necessarily a fan of KSI's music.
Yeah.
But I've always said that you can tell the amount of effort he puts in, which I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Because
and the fact that he is making something out of it as well.
Like, he's always sort of had the, you know, he's never shied away from the aspect that he's a YouTuber coming into the music industry with, like, no experience at all. Although I would say, like, he did make some music before he fully committed to it, which some of the songs I think are pretty good.
Yeah, I think he does have a couple of songs. Like I said,
Mhm.
there's like one or two I can
I'm
listen
just
to
not,
as
I'm
far
not,
as
so-
I
I'm
can
just not
do it.
necessarily a fan of his style. It's
Yeah.
not for like I'm not saying it's inherently bad. It's
Mhm.
not. It's just not for me. But yes, like I said, and he puts his money where his mouth is, quite literally,
Mhm.
in that he does have quite a lot of money to
Yeah.
throw at.
Oh yeah,
at
like his
music.
like music videos are all very high budget.
Hmm. I remember that when he came back with the first time, like a few years ago, just
Mhm.
before he dropped his first EP. Like the production quality on the video was
Mhm.
insane. Um, at the very least, if I don't necessarily like the music, I can always watch the videos.
Yeah. Definitely.
But for the most part, I do think that is just something for them to try and stoke the flames for this
Mhm.
potential fight.
Oh, I think the fight will definitely happen. I have no doubt. Although Jake's might be fighting in September, right? In as the undercard for the Tyson fight.
Yeah, he's fighting someone. Yeah.
He's from NBA, isn't it?
Who?
I don't know who. I think he's fighting someone from the NBA. Jake.
I don't know.
I just find it funny. Could you imagine if he lost that? If he lost that, then like, the KSI fight's done.
I can honestly say I'm not necessarily very interested in the KSI Jake fight because I have no I don't like Jake, but I don't particularly care.
Yeah, the reason I'm interested in it is because I feel like I've just been invested since the start when it all started with Joe and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just kind of over time come to like it. Every time these like fight build-ups and stuff are on YouTube, it gives me something to watch. Whereas at the moment I'm on like a content drought and just don't know what to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like
Yeah.
about these fights, just the build up to them and the YouTube content that just comes out of it that you can watch, the podcasts, you can watch and all that. It's just really fun.
Yeah, like they're definitely. I'd say that is the main focus for a lot of them is the pre-fight
Yeah.
build-up and like seeing just how much content can they suck from this like one idea, like.
It's impressive how much they can get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Like they definitely go the extra mile. There's a lot more. They do a lot more in these YouTube fights in terms of like pre-match hype,
Yeah.
as opposed to like the actual fights. Because the main interest of the actual fights is the weigh-in, just the press conferences. But with the YouTube ones, it's like there's like radio interviews, podcast interviews. Like they release like their own trailers and shit.
It is all very fun.
Mm-hmm. That is the. They definitely very much emphasize on the fun aspect.
And then
of
when it comes to the fight itself, it's still enjoyable to watch it.
Mhm.
There's something fun about watching people that aren't as good at something doing it, because there's more room for it to just be hectic, which builds. When you see two professionals, it can be slow, very mind games and everything. But when it's two people who are just amateurs, just throwing their hands, it's fun. There's just something exciting about not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, because with professional boxing, that's like for a long time, it's now just kind of been. Like the fights are quite boring.
Yeah.
There's very rarely ever a slug match. I know there's different kinds of boxing fans. I'm not a very dedicated one, but the fights I enjoy watching are the ones where it's just hell for leather.
Yeah.
People just non-stop throwing punches. Whereas now it's more calculated.
Yeah.
They have more of a.
They play the
incentive.
win now instead of necessarily playing to knock the other person out, I find.
They have more of an incentive to bring it, to make the match go the full length,
Yeah.
because I imagine they get paid more
Mm-hmm.
because it gets more eyes on the TV for a longer period of
Yeah.
time. Whereas back in like the old days, it would have been more, people just wanted to get the fight over with as
Mm-hmm.
quickly as possible, which came at the sort of at the expense of the fans, really. But now it's like, we don't necessarily go in expecting a knockout with the YouTube
Yeah.
fights, but we know at the very least there's gonna be some highlights
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have the technique of the professionals,
Yeah.
so it is.
And have
it's
you
clearly
heard
a
that
grudge
quote?
match.
Heard the quote? No, I don't know it perfectly, but something along the lines of like, I fear the man who's never practiced at all more than the master who's put like 1,000 hours of work in. And the whole point of it is the guy that's never practiced once has such little skill that everything you've trained to defend against isn't going to be shown in that fighter.
Yeah.
It's like a quote from like, I think it's a quote from like the samurai and all that. But it's just that concept of a guy just swinging a sword about is more deadly than the one who's skilled in how to use it. Because the one that knows how to use it knows how to defend. The one that is just swinging it about, what do you do at that point where it's just someone swinging about a weapon?
Yeah, I think there's elements of truth to that because, like, I don't think if someone like KSI went in against like a like a Tyson Fury,
Yeah.
I don't think he'd stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a certain
There's that
element to it.
Yeah, and there's that element of like one wrong punch in the wrong place, no matter how skilled or unskilled you are. If it has the power behind it, it can knock you out no matter who you are,
Yeah, because like if KSI is going in there, it's like with his lack of training, he's going to be trying anything.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be trying things that most professional boxers wouldn't try.
Yeah.
Because they know they won't, like, because it doesn't fit in a professional fight. But if it were to come up and you just weren't expecting it, it could be interesting.
And we'll probably talk on this subject again as well, closer to the time of the fight. So I was thinking, do you want to give like a very early prediction now, so that months from now when we indefinitely come back to it, we can see if anything has changed?
Well, from the offset, I think KSI would likely beat Jake because I think with the fights Jake's had so far, he's been coming up against more like people that are very much below his skill level.
And he went like the distance against Deji, who hadn't even trained.
Yeah, like someone like Deji was not good. Like,
and Jake couldn't just finish it, yeah.
And he fought Gibb, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gibb got in pretty good shape for that, right? But technically he very underperformed.
Yeah. Although Jake did seem to punch him. There was like one hit, because I rewatched this actually a couple weeks ago. I was like rewatching all those fights because I was just bored one day. And there's like one punch Jake lands that looked harsh. Like you can hear it over the microphone.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that Jake has a bit of ability, right? But I just don't. I think with someone like KSI, who would strike me as someone who puts in significantly more effort.
And someone that can take a hit. Like he got down by Logan and just back up.
He hits pretty hard as well, and because he's a bigger guy than Jake, I believe.
Yeah.
At least in terms of physical shape, I don't know if he's taller, but he seems.
I think they're
more
about the same height. Because I believe statistically Jake is taller, but when you actually look at them side by side, the difference is too small to make a difference. Like they're pretty much on like that level.
Yeah, I just think I think Jake's in physical shape for show,
and not for ability.
I don't know how real the muscles are, kind of.
And we've seen with the Logan and KSI fight, the muscles only get you so far.
Well, yeah, whereas I think with KSI, his his physique has come from putting in the work. Whereas
Yeah,
I think,
caring about it.
I think GX is more for the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think Obi KSI. And I think, you've already explained pretty much everything that has to be explained. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, just, in general conversation. But people often underrate just how important willpower can be. Forgetting it's stuff like willpower that leads to second wind, which has been scientifically proven to exist. And for those who don't know, it's the concept that when you're beaten up, or not even beaten up, just when you're exhausted, you just get that sudden energy boost that just keeps you going. And I think you can see if KSI when he's fighting Joe, when he's fighting Logan, like both times he was the underdog. And I think that willpower, the train, the fight, and the win got him through both fights.
Yeah, because I think...
Because technically, he's not as good a boxer as Logan was. And he has admitted himself that even Joe, from just the training and everything he saw, was technically a better boxer than him. But what makes KSI good is he just won't back down. He'll keep going.
Yeah, because I think KSI, just in life, has had significantly more to overcome than Jake has.
Yeah.
Not saying Jake necessarily had it easy growing up, I don't really know too much about him. But I think definitely in terms of just his work, KSI's had more effort to do than most.
Yeah.
He had to put in a lot of effort to be respected in the YouTube game. Because for the most part, he just kind of done piss take videos, right? Like gained following through that, and then going, he did his movie, which didn't really perform too well, but he took the risk of going into that field.
Yeah.
Then took the risk of going into the music, kind of all or nothing kind of thing, and then now he's going into the boxing. Whereas I think KSI would have more to lose if he did lose, because I think it's just a thing about the English fans. They're less forgetful of the lows. Like, I think if KSI lost, the sort of, the English fans probably wouldn't forget it. They'd probably just give him stick from now until forever.
He already does get it, though.
Yeah, whereas I think if Jake lost,
his fan base are that young that they'd still be supporting him.
I don't even think it's because of his age. I just think the American fan base would forget about it very fast. They just move on to the next big thing.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Alright, well, we will likely revisit that at a later date, closer to whenever the fight is, whether it be next year or whatever. So, do you have any other topics?
No, that's pretty much it. There's not really been much going on.
Been a slow week.
Yeah, very little to talk about. Hopefully, in the next week, I believe there's meant to be some new, games announced. Probably new movie trailers. Hopefully, will be coming out. Stuff that we can talk about on here, give opinions about. But for the most part, I think that's us done this week.
And maybe we could even look to getting someone on, maybe with this one week as well.
Yeah, maybe potential guest next week. Who knows? Yeah. Well. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week, pretty much. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, make sure to leave it in the comments, and we will visit it as soon as possible. Okay, guys, see ya.
Bye.